Happy New Year. Okay, with that being said, say bye to 2022 and hello to 2023. I'm Nick Davenport, aka Mr. Mental Muscle, your favorite applied psychologist, and here we're going to talk about how not to achieve your New Year's resolution. Yeah, you heard me right, how not to. Typically, people give you these how-to guides on how to do something, especially when it comes to New Year's resolution. But the reason I want to say how not to is because typically with New Year's resolution, they set all types of goals such as trying to lose weight, read a book every day, find a new job, whatever it is. But typically within a month or so, they fall flat and they do not achieve their goal. It's not because they didn't want it, but there's different things that may stop them. So knowing not what to do will probably give you a better chance because you can look for the things that may throw you off your path. So let's go over the 5 different ways on how not to achieve your New Year's resolution. Number 1, don't have process goals. Now, goal setting is a very broad and vague topic, and typically when we talk about it, it's usually talking about something called an outcome goal. An outcome goal is basically what do you want to accomplish at the end. We're very good at setting these because we know we want to lose that 20 pounds. We know we want to read that book a day. We know we want to get better at dealing with our anxiety. Whatever it may be, we're fully aware of what the end should look like. But the in-between part, the process, is typically where most people fall off. So when it comes to goal setting, you need to look at process goals, because what a process goal is, it's the act or activities that lead up to the next steps to finally get you to that outcome. For example, if you went to a bank and you just stood there, you just waited, looked around, hours went by, you looked at your watch, and you eventually checked your account and you said, why haven't I gained any money? The actual act of going to the bank doesn't get you money. It's the act of working or starting a business or having some kind of side hustle to accumulate that money that you deposit into the bank. It's the same way with goals. We can't just say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. No, you have to make it your process to get up at a timely manner, get to the gym, make it a process to pick the right foods to eat, the right amount of sleep to get. You have to actually take these actions day by day individually because these small wins shape the performance. Performance is how you're able to execute. The performance gives you the outcome. So you have to have the process, which is how to go about it. Performance is how you execute, and the outcome is what you get. So if you don't do the processes, forget about getting that goal, and that's how you're gonna fall flat on your face trying to get this New Year's resolution. 2, you only use extrinsic motivation. Now, what does that mean? Extrinsic, that means external. That means anything that's outside of yourself. That could be monetary gain, that could be doing it for your friends, doing it for your kids, your family. And there's nothing wrong with extrinsic goals. They're needed because it helps you get that support, that accountability, because now you know someone else is someone that may be dependent on you or using them as an anchor to hold you down. But the problem is if you only have extrinsic goals, the outside effect of getting that new look or getting that monetary gain, you'll easily give up. Think about someone who's had everything handed to them in life. They call them like trust fund babies, right? They're more inclined to be haphazard with what they do and their belongings because they know they can get another one. But if you saved up your own hard-earned money and you bought that car or that item, you'd be less likely to put it in danger to get broken, damaged, or lost because you put into it. The same thing with intrinsic goals, because when it's internal to you, it means no matter what happens, if it gets harder, you know what? I'm doing this because deep down, I feel that this is where I want to be versus I need to do it for my kids. Like I said, it's great to have those external goals because it helps you stay grounded. But the minute that external reason dwindles or goes away, you're less inclined to be motivated. And a lot of people talk about how motivation is fleeting, and it is. Discipline is the biggest thing, and people always say you need discipline more than motivation. Now, I don't argue, you need both because you're not always going to be disciplined either, but having the internal motivation that's more based on your wants will get you a lot farther when you put it on someone or something else. 3, they don't have measurables. So this kind of goes back to goal setting and be able to track what you're trying to do. Because if you just say, I want to go out and do it, but you have no specific way to start from, how do you know you're getting better each time? I'm using the fitness example because it's probably the most common New Year's resolution, but it's very good to give an example of how to measure things. So for most part, people start this journey. Do they weigh themselves first? Do they get their measurements? Do they see what they can lift, how far they can run? All these are important because if you go a month or 2 down the road, how do you know if you've gotten better? You can assume I feel better, I might look a little better, my clothes fit better. Those are great metrics, but you need to have something tangible written down to know that day 1, I was 190 pounds. Day 35, I was 186 pounds. Day 75, I was 140 pounds. Whatever it is, they're able to track that progress. So being able to measure, because if you can't measure it, you can't track it. You can't track it, how can you truly achieve it? Also, it helps motivate you because it goes back to motivation. If you see that you've lost X amount of weight, or if you've gotten to the goal you wanted within a time frame, to the bigger goal, you're probably gonna say, wow, I'm on a good path. and then you'll kick it up a notch and try to get even more. Or on the contrary, you might say, wow, I'm really slacking, I'm behind. Now, depending on what type of person you are, how you deal with anxiety and pressure, you might adapt negatively to being behind and vice versa. But the point is, if you know, you can adjust your plan because your goals aren't going to be linear. People think that's just going to be a straight line to the top, but no, it's going to be cumulative. That means every single process, remember process, is going to add up to the overall goal, to the big picture. So it might go up all the way, down, left, back, up, circle, loop-de-loop, then to the top. But it'll never be a straight line. And we got to get over that because a lot of times you think we're just going to go out and do it, and this messes us up. 4, trying to do too much. Now, this one, I see this all the time, whether it be fitness, health, mental, work. People try to take on too many tasks. And it's okay to be overzealous to an extent because that means you really want to do it and you really care. But the problem is, if you try to do too much, which way do you really go? How do you really achieve the goal if you have your hands in a bunch of different pots? Let's use this analogy. Imagine if you want to drive to Texas, but you also need to be in New York, but you want to work on building your house, but you want to paint a picture, and you also want to work out 5 times a week. All those goals are, I would say, achievable. But with all that's going on, something's going to have to take the back seat. Now, it may sound insane saying that in that context, but use it with your goals. If you want to lose weight, but you're trying to read 10 books a day, and you're trying to get a new job, you got to pick what's the bigger priority. It's not saying you can't attack those other goals. It's just saying something has to take precedent and the other ones have to come afterwards, or at least to a minimal compared to the bigger goal, because that way you can focus more of your energy, more of your insights on what needs to be done. The moment you start deviating your time, it makes it harder. Not impossible, it's doable, but if you really want to execute and achieve these goals in your New Year's resolution, you need to pick one that's very defined, very measurable, and something you can continuously do. And that leads to this last one, number 5, do something you enjoy. That seems pretty obvious, right? But you'd be surprised how many people pick these goals or these resolutions just because it's the mainstream. I see everyone doing vision boards, everyone hits the gym January 1st. That's all fine and dandy, and I'm not knocking that. But if that's not what truly your goal is, why go for it? You might say, but those are great goals and I want to get in shape. Cool, you want to get in shape. But going back to saying priorities, like I mentioned, if that's not your top priority, is this really what you're going to want to do? Because typically as humans, we like to do things that we enjoy. It sounds pretty obvious, right? But that's called self-determination theory. And with this motivational theory, they talk about how if you're competent at something, you want to do it more and you become autonomous, meaning doing it on your own, getting better. And if you're more autonomous, you want to do it more socially. You do it around people, community, and it just goes in a loop. Competent people want to do it more. People do it more, get better. People get better, are able to execute with whenever, wherever. Right? So with this theory, it's saying do something you enjoy or at least can tolerate. Because a lot of times people force themselves. The moment you force yourself, you're going to fall off. That's guaranteed. It may not happen the first day or day 100, but it's going to happen. So make sure you're able to execute on what you want to do. Now, will there be times that you don't feel like it? Yes. I want to put that out there because a lot of times, even if you like doing it, I love what I do. I work with some of the world's best performers, athletes, military. I love making content for YouTube, but there's days I don't feel like doing that. It's not because I hate it, it's just I'm a human and our moods are dynamic. So take that into consideration. Your mood might always fit it, but if it's something you like doing and enjoy, you can probably overcome that more frequently than something you don't enjoy. The key word is consistency. It's not automation to the point where you can do it no matter what, but it's the point to when you can do it easier and more consistently because it's something you know that you can do, want to do, and you'll probably do it more efficiently. Now, these are just 5, but there's plenty other ways you can mess up your New Year's goals. And I'll probably do another video about this topic because maybe in a week or 2 to see how you're doing on your New Year's resolution yourself. So thanks guys for tuning in. I always appreciate it. And this being the last video of 2022, let's go out with a bang and start off amazingly. And matter of fact, leave your New Year's resolutions in the comments below and let's all get our minds right.